Sydney property to fall 200,000. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode. Grab your stein of coffee because there's another article I want to look at which is discussing property price forecasts and, well, here Sydney dropping a massive $200,000. And before we go through this, because notice it's about mortgage prisons. That seems to be the term that, well, the media is jumping on at the moment. I'm just going to bring up, well, my interest rate data in a moment. But as we can see here, I'm liking this, the CoreLogic mapping. We can look at the median prices of property this month around Sydney of houses and units. And while it's interesting to see how expensive everything is, and viewers have told me in the comments that, like, living out here is considered part of Sydney. You wouldn't be commuting, would you? You would not be commuting from there. How far does this mapping go? This can't just be Sydney. This has to be all of New South Wales. Come on. Oh, wait, no, they just mapped the whole country on the one chart. Okay. Oh, that's nice. There you go, guys. So you can see how far you go from Sydney. So apparently, around here is Sydney. Let's have a look at, though, the 3-month change. And yeah, it's all in red, 12-month change. It's all in red. Actually, let's zoom out and see what a view we can get over the whole country. Oh, we won't go that far. Okay, so we got red on the coast. The regions are still all blue. Canberra, red. Melbourne, very red. What else? Gold Coast, still green. Northern Rivers, bit of red there. Brisbane, over 12 months, is still red. Go up the coast here. Yeah, everything blue, 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 blue. Do they have any data right up north? I guess you probably won't be able to buy land up there, to be honest. It'll be some crazy scheme of just leasing it from the government forever. What about Darwin? How's Darwin going? It's, yeah, still pretty blue. Bit of red there. What about WA? What do we have? Do we have any data for Broome? Ooh, oh, it's bad. It's doing red. Port Hedland's not doing well. Ooh, yeah, middle of nowhere's doing bad. Newman. Perth is doing reasonably well over 12 months. Not that bad. We go down here to Mandurah. Did I say it right this time, guys? Still in the blue. Still in the blue. 12%, 13%, 12%. There you go. So that's interesting when we're talking about these articles, because what they're all concerned about is the valuation of people's properties dropping down, so the LVRs, loan to value ratios, are getting to a point where they can't refinance, so they're trapped. So we like to play around with the going off the fixed rates to higher rates, higher variable rates. So, you're going from, let's say to 5%, whatever, from a sub 2% mortgage, and that it's going to look quite dramatic. But I would, bet a carton that the majority of people that are on this rate know it's not real. They know it's bullshit, fake, cheap money. That's why we all locked it in. The issue is it's the people who've borrowed beyond their limit, right to the max, probably FOMO'd in, who are the ones who are going to be stuck. They're going to be stuck. And they won't be able to get the advantages of shopping around, of making the banks work with each other, which is great for the banks, but not too good for the people in this situation. But does that mean they're going to up and sell? No, it probably doesn't. They may get a tap on the shoulder, but that's kind of a different issue. So, since peaking in January 22, Sydney's house prices have declined significantly, and new data from Rate City predict this trend to continue through to next year's conclusion. This is based on an analysis of NAB's property price forecasts, for what Rate City concluded that the average Sydney house price could fall to 1.1 million by December of next year, while prices in Melbourne may potentially wind down to 780,000. So down to 1.1. Let's have a look at some of the SQM data. This is this Sydney asking prices, and there we go. So they're talking about what, going down to 1.1. I'm assuming 3 betters, but we'll say that. Yeah, that's a significant move. It's like going back to 2019 prices, guys. Remember the long time ago? What this is showing is just how insane everything has been recently. COVID has not been normal. The property market has not responded normally. Honestly, I think a lot of people just had more money. They managed to cash up, save more money, and use whatever opportunities they could. Then the government starts doing all their housing stimulation mechanisms, which include, among other things, juicing the market. The cash rate is artificially low. That's obviously influenced it. But you also had home builder. You had grants. You get up a combined, up to 88 grand in WA, but it's even higher now. You've got shared equity and the government loan guarantees. It's all just artificial. So coming off the top, you shouldn't be surprised. This doesn't mean that someone who can't afford to get in a property now is suddenly going to be able to afford to get a property in Sydney when it goes down to 1.1, because their borrowing capacity is also going to take a hit. So Rate City added to this point, stating that individuals who purchased a median price Sydney home in June 2021 with a 5% deposit could owe the bank 5% more than their house is worth by the end of next year, should NAB's forecasts come to fruition. Yeah, people are going to be in negative equity. They're going to be in negative equity. Now, does that mean the bank is going to tap on these people's shoulders and force them to sell? No. If you're not making any issues, if you're still maintaining your repayments, what are you going to do? You're going to sell? You're going to sell at a loss? Are you going to solidify that loss that you've made, or are you just going to ride it out, particularly if it's a home that you own? The biggest issue, I think, will be relationship declines and then leading to property sales, forced sales. So if the initial deposit was 20%, the individual will owe just 11%, own just 11% of the property by the end of next year, rendering them in mortgage prison unless they pay mortgage insurance in the event that they opt to refinance, which is predicted to hit record levels in the coming months. Why? Why is it predicted? We'll have to see. Similarly, in Melbourne, anyone who purchased a median-priced home in the Victorian capital in June 21 with a 5% deposit could owe the bank 10% more than the property's value by December 23. Sally Tyndall's Rate City's research director expects the Australian property market to be in for a bumpy ride over the next year if NAB's new forecasts are realised. Every time the RBA hikes rates, the maximum amount people can borrow from the bank takes a hit, and with the number of rate hikes potentially weighing on the wings, the drops in property prices are likely to continue. Ms. Tyndall outlined that as the budgets of some buyers continually shrink, others are playing the long game in the hopes that cheaper deals reveal themselves in the future. She added that falling property prices are typically good news for would-be first-home buyers looking for a window in. That's if it falls to reasonable prices. Is it going to? That's the question. I mean, who thought 2019 was good affordable property prices? Let me know in the comments. I remember when I bought, I thought property was insane. And now looking at those prices, it's nuts. It's nuts. However, with interest rates still on the rise, it's not going to be a walk in the park. They'll be paying more in interest for the money they borrow against what is an uncertain background. NAB Executive for Home Ownership, Andy Kerr, mirrored this, explaining how in a rising rate environment where people are uncertain on when the rising rate cycle will end, Australians are more cautious on what they can afford. Ms. Tyndall concluded that anyone who bought at the peak should put the property news pages in the bottom of the drawer and focus on paying down their debt. Now that is the best advice we've ever heard in one of these articles. That is good advice, really. Because, I mean, do you pay attention to your property prices? If you've got a portfolio of properties that you've invested in, maybe you're checking prices every now and then. I'm assuming it's like the stock market. If you've got a long-term strategy, you put your money in there and you just keep an eye on it, monitor it, make sure nothing unusual is happening, make sure the payments are still coming in, you're still maintaining your properties. But you tell me, are you sitting there watching it? I mean, this is me with the Bitcoin and crypto stuff. I remember when I was first trading it years ago, and it was shooting up and shooting down. It was all over the place. It was all too exciting, too fast. Probably part of the reason why I like my slow and boring dividend investing strategy. What do you reckon, guys? I think that's some fantastic advice from Tyndall. Some really good advice there. Just put the page down, stop reading, and just pay down your debt. That's probably good advice for everyone, all the time. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Check out my other channels, Heiser Bim and Heiser Says International, for other topics that I discuss. And if you want to support us, you can financially on YouTube or Patreon. You can use our referral links on Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Aussie Broadband. Buy our merch, or call us if you need an architect. Take care. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.